So I saw something recently on Twitter, someone claiming that there's the most important monetary shift of the 21st century, the biggest thing since 1971. And I read the thread and there's a lot of truth to it, but it's not 100% truthful. And it is a little bit of narrative, a little bit of hyperbole. So I thought it would be really helpful for our viewers if we go through it and we analyze fact from fiction.
Okay.
So we start here with this thread. We just discovered the most important monetary shift of the 21st century, and nobody is talking about it. And it's all about silver, actually, usurping the role of gold. So here it is. We just discovered the most important thing. What I'm about to lay out is not speculation. Oh, by the way, this is from Macro by Sunil. So this is his thread.
Okay.
Credit to him. What I'm about to lay out is not speculation. It is a fully traceable sequence of geopolitical, financial, and market events that reveals a new global reserve structure being built outside the US dollar. So this is pretty huge. After Western sanctions in 2022, India-Russia oil trade exploded, reaching record levels, $50 to $60 billion annually. But there was a huge problem. India tried paying Russia in Indian rupees, and Russia rejected it, because Indian rupees are not convertible internationally, and Russia called rupees pointless outside India. That was in May 2023. So before I keep going, Mike, is there anything you want to weigh in on here?
Well, that's true with almost every fiat currency, with the big exception of the dollar. Then second place would be the euro, and then after that, the Chinese yuan. But most national fiat currencies are sort of worthless once they leave their home country. And it just shows you how stupid this whole system is. Fiat currencies are idiotic.
They are idiotic. What if we all just use the currency backed by gold? The same across the board. We wouldn't have any FX traders. Oh,
we should just be using gold globally in grams, nanograms, and so on. That's how payments should be made. Or bimetallic, except you can't peg anything. It's got to just float, which means you go to the grocery store and there would be a price in grams of gold or a price in grams and nanograms of silver.
Yeah.
So it would be a little more complex with a floating bimetallic, but something that governments can't print at a whim, that they can't put their own name on and control the population by limiting your travel with your wealth. The wealth belongs to you, not to them, but yet you fly into a different country. You got to fill out that landing card. Are you bringing anything greater than $10,000 or greater of financial instruments? It's insane how there's these people that have such big egos and that they feel that they have the right to control everybody else. I just don't understand humans. Go ahead.
Well, we're not going to figure it out today. But anyways, so far this India-Russia oil factoid here, this is true. This is verifiable, no doubt about it. So next here, with $40 billion plus stuck in Indian banks, Russia faced a crisis. They couldn't repatriate rupees. They couldn't convert to US dollars due to sanctions. And they couldn't spend the rupees inside India. There's basically nothing they wanted. So Russia needed a store of value escape hatch. This was the beginning of a silent monetary revolution. All right, strong language here. India shifted to paying Russia in AED. Okay, those are United Arab Emirates dirhams. Okay, the UAE currency.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese yuan. So why AED? Because AED is liquid, freely convertible, and strategically important. If we sort of think through the different incentive systems here and the wants and the needs, China needs AED to buy Gulf oil. Okay. UAE is the new neutral clearing hub. Okay. Russia can exchange AED without touching dollar networks. And this created a new triangular settlement loop. Okay. It's got the chain of flags here. It's really 4 countries involved, but the point is they're skipping out on the dollar. So this is part of the de-dollarization theme that we've been hearing about for years from the BRICS nations especially. So any comment here, Mike?
Well, I started a series called The Death of the Global Dollar Standard back in 2009. And I was tracking all of the events, chipping it. I called it the nails in the coffin of the global dollar standard. And these are potentially huge nails, but it's not going to happen like all at once until it does. It's a slow whittling away at this, and it will happen. But George Gammon points out that the dollar, it's like cell phones. The dollar has all the apps, and the other currencies don't. And that's the reason the Indian rupees were useless in Russia. Now, this triangle works, except it would be limited in trade to the amount of oil that China is buying. China would not want a bunch of excess rupees, so it has a cap on it. It's not like the dollar, but it's another huge nail in the coffin.
Exactly. So I've got to ask, because a fan of yours was recently asking me, why did you ever stop doing the nails in the coffins visual? Is it because there were just nails every single day and it was impossible to keep up with so many of them?
I tried to update that without building the whole thing new from scratch. And actually, if anybody knows Keynote or PowerPoint, if you put too many moves and images that are clicks in a frame, and then you want to try to modify it or change it in any way, you remove something, and it just became a total nightmare. I stopped because it was too much work for me. I'm not, I'm dyslexic. And I just don't have the patience. I've got a lot of patience when it comes to my investments and stuff. But when I'm working on something and it breaks and I got to start over again, and it does that 2 or 3 times, forget about it. So someday I'll put it back together. There were actually the assistant that had initially put that together put too many minute nails in the coffin. And I don't want the little finishing nails that you do cabinetry with. I want, big old framing nails.
Gutter spikes.
15 penny and 10 penny, big, huge nails. I want fewer of them, but really important stuff. And so we'll redo it sometime or another in the future because it's getting closer and closer, and it's all coming true. Everything that I was talking about since 2009, they all compound on each other.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got some more nails in the coffin coming up here in this thread. So here's the breakthrough discovery. From July of 2024, something shocking appeared on the charts. Silver began moving tick for tick with the INR-CNY exchange rate, so Indian rupees, Chinese yuan. This correlation has never existed in history. Silver detached from COMEX pricing and started tracking settlement currency flows. This is a signal of sovereign accumulation, not investor speculation. So some pretty bold claims here. And this chart is very fascinating, actually. So the blue line here is the price of silver, and then the red and green candles is the exchange rate between the Chinese yuan and the Indian rupees. And they, after this white line, they do start to follow each other, somewhat significantly. So
I'd say you have to move that white line a few months. They're the first area where you said that was the rupee, the lower line?
Well, it's the exchange rate between the yuan and the rupee, the lower line.
Okay. Yeah. That's a little choppier than silver is, but it's a very interesting combination, but correlation is not necessarily proof of causation.
Yeah. That was one of the things I was going to say. And we're in a situation right now where, okay, the price of silver is going up. Wonderful. A lot of things are going up right now. So many different macro factors are going up. You could probably draw a chart that looks kind of like this with 20 different, macro indicators. But of course, that doesn't mean that some random employment indicator is causing the price of silver to go up, or the price of real estate is causing the price of silver to go up, or necessarily this currency pair is causing the price of silver to go up. So it's interesting, but I agree with you, Mike. Correlation is not causation. Also, silver detached from COMEX pricing, I don't think so. I think COMEX is still following the price of silver.
That's the price. When you look at the spot price, that comes from COMEX.
Exactly. And so if that
I missed they made that statement. This is a very good sort of investigative reporting and trying to associate things. I think he's done a spectacular job. But that particular statement, I would say, is not true yet, but it will be someday.
exactly. And if that breaks, if we do see a divergence there, it'll be the only thing that everyone's talking about. It'll be huge news.
Right.
So, all right, moving on here. Why would silver suddenly track that currency pair, rupees and yuan? Because here's the mechanism we uncovered. India buys oil and then pays Russia in AED. Russia converts those AED to yuan. China wants AED for Gulf oil, and Russia uses the yuan to buy physical silver from China. So
Russia
silver.
has been buying silver, right?
Say it again.
Didn't Russia buy silver several months ago? Yeah.
Yes, they announced it. That's coming up in a tweet coming up. They allocated, I think.
Their central bank is buying silver, so this is very important. However, there's one thing missing. So India buys oil, pays with AED. Where did they get the AED? Does the United Arab Emirates take unlimited quantities of rupees, and what do they do with the rupees? That's what I would want to know.
That's a good question, and I do not have the answer for you. But that's exactly, economics is a closed loop, right? So it's got those rupees have to go somewhere.
And this would be another. It isn't just China's ability to absorb the AED. It's the United Arab Emirates ability to absorb rupees, and we just this started with Russia's inability to absorb rupees, and so the whole thread started with that. Exactly. And so I would think that applies elsewhere as well.